So, hello everybody. This is this is a new alternate future of the world file because I lost the original one. I also like the Antarctica claims because it just looks good, I guess. So, the only bad thing is that the borders are not solid pixel, but I can deal with that. Also, I like how Somaliland is separate from Somalia. That's cool. That's a cool detail. This map is pretty good, but the thing is, it's 8,092 by 4,096 pixels. I have to check how many pixels that actually is. I'm just gonna save it in my AFOTW. I'm actually gonna save it on my external hard drive, just if it's okay. Mapping videos, scenes, alternate future of the world. Just save it in that folder. So don't save it in the USA history video. That's the thing. Just call it untitled for now. It's only 6 megabytes in size. I'm only gonna save it once an episode. So I'm only gonna save it once an episode. We're not going to save every scene because that would be incredibly dumb. I'm just gonna save once an episode. So the first thing that we're going to do here is start with I guess just make like this pinkish color. I'm just going to color in. So I'm going to color in all of these. Oh, a wrong thing. Turn down the tolerance. Turning down the hardness won't do anything. Okay, now turn up the tolerance a little bit, but don't hit the borders. %. Wrong thing. Okay, 20% tolerance is enough, apparently. That's okay, so next we have to get rid of the borders. Um, no, I'm not gonna color America red. I'm not gonna change the colors unless I'm adding a new country. And I won't have to add that many new countries for now. I'm also not gonna change color because, like, I just have to make sure that the colors, aren't the same as any. The colors of one set of one country aren't the same as any neighboring country. And trust me, that is a massive pain to check and fix. We're just gonna give this to South Sudan for now. Or now the East African Federation, which is now the 10th largest country on Earth. So basically all the member states ratified the constitution of the new country. Eventually, actually turn up tolerance on that one, but like don't color in Russia. Just make sure to not color in Russia. Let's hope I didn't cause anything too much. Yeah, I'm just getting everything situated here. So basically, Russia annexes Crimea in return for pulling out of Ukraine. I mean, it's still technically disputed territory, but it's, I guess, still I guess. So next, okay. So next, we have Norway's massive claim over Antarctica, and this unclaimed territory in Antarctica. So we're actually, so like in geography, help island for country Mr. What? No, I'm not going to create a country for you. This is, I'm not gonna create a country for that purpose. Like, oh wait, why did I do that? Wait, why did I do that? Don't make it like that thick. I believe these are only like 1 pixel thick borders. Just make that a straight line. So I'm just gonna split that area in Antarctica between the United States and Russia. Oh, yep. What the heck did I just do? Ooh, very good. I need to turn up the tolerance a little bit. So I believe America now borders Chile. So this is the American claim over Antarctica. And then we now need a Russian. This is the Russian claim. This probably won't stay Russian, but I guess Russia decided to, Russia decided to colonize Antarctica, or, claim part of Antarctica because of Siberia or something. Oh no. So, this is now what the world looks like in around 2026. I might do stuff with American presidential elections to... Also, this should actually be American. I do have to fix one minor issue in the map. This little area should be American. And just turn up the tolerance to about 25%. Yeah. Yeah, this area should be American because it's separated by a lake. They accidentally made that Canadian, but it's actually American. This map is kind of stretched out. What? Not my not country. You're literally not speaking in clear sentences. That's improper. You have my and not mixed up. That they should be reversed. But anyway, why? Well, I'm not adding viewers' countries if they're unrealistic, because I have to keep this within the boundaries of realism. I don't want a random country to be created out of nowhere. Because that would just not work. Another change in the map. Don't make it that big. Don't make your brush that big. There we go. There we go. Israel just annexes the Gaza Strip. Well, and the borders are actually much cleaner now. The world's borders look much cleaner now. I mean, sometimes the division of Antarctica looks kind of dumb. Also, Australia, what did you do to Antarctica? There. I believe this is I believe that's French Antarctica. And New Zealand also claimed a lot too. And now they border Russia. That's Norway. That's Norwegian. So we also have to settle some Antarctic territory disputes. So the UK annexes So basically, Britain just annexes most of Chile's claims over the continent. And then Britain agrees to renounce. And then Britain agrees to renounce. So basically, even though the Antarctic Treaty actually, I'm not going to do that, because the Antarctic Treaty would expire in. The Antarctic Treaty only expires in 2048, which is 20 years after the scenario takes place. No, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to create a country for one random viewer. Plus, there's several other countries colored red. Like China, Denmark, UK, Latvia, Canada, Peru. Like, it's kind of hard to Turkey. There's a lot. It's kind of hard to come up with original countries here. Also, first war breaking out. Oh wait, don't turn the tolerance that high up. Morocco invades Western Sahara, and, so the U.S. supports Morocco here, giving them the edge, allowing them to push back the Saharans. Basically, this is like the second Sand War in my old series, which you can watch, and if you're bored with this. I do have to turn this thing up to like 30%. I don't know. 35% tolerance? So Algeria does start invading Morocco. Until Morocco does push them back slightly with U.S. support. So the Algerians are being backed by, like, Russia or some other, like, China maybe. Morocco also starts invading parts of Western Sahara. I mean, Algeria. While it invades farther through this way, basically, it's kind of a mixed invasion, like, because Morocco is forced to fight on two fronts. So, the Moroccans push into Western Sahara very far. The Western Sahara kind of starts collapsing. No. What do you mean your country joined your username? No, that didn't happen. Morocco also starts pushing in a bit. Algeria actually has to take troops on this front, from this front, to go fight the Moroccans here. And then starts their invasion into Morocco. basically, the war was kind of going nowhere until randomly the U.S. joined. Well, I guess they did join, but I actually had Algeria and Libya win, but in this scenario, we're going to make them not win, because I kind of want to be a little more creative. So France starts supporting Morocco, a few other countries. I mean, Morocco. Yeah, France also starts supporting Morocco, allowing them to push back. Why? I need to turn down the tolerance. Because then Morocco would be pushing into Mauritania as well. I believe if I turn it down to 25%, it's still going into Mauritania. But if I go up to... It's still going into Mauritania, but only on its border provinces. 15%? Well, now it's... I just have to be really careful then, I guess. Or Morocco is also with Mauritania. Oh, it just glitched. Eventually, the Algerians start pushing farther into Morocco, and Morocco pushes farther into the Western Sahara. After a while, Western Sahara surrenders, and even though the war is technically a Moroccan victory, but they still have to deal with the Algerians on their border, which they push back the Algerians very far with the help of France and the US. But Algeria also does their own pushback of sorts. And starts massively pushing back the Moroccans. Yep, dead chat. Well, for like 7 minutes. Basically, the Moroccans do their own effort to push in. So basically, the war is literally going nowhere. With Morocco and so, yeah, I kind of haven't been talking that much, but here's what the world looks like. Basically the French are, so the French arrive in Algeria, and they do some pushing in. The French are pretty strong. because so with U.S. support, the French can, with U.S. support on both ends, the French can push into Algeria, and Tunisia's just chilling. They aren't doing much. The French kind of do a curve around method around Tunisia. So, Libya kind of... So Libya makes peace with the French with no implications at all. Yes, no implications at all, because the French, like, basically, they kind of betrayed Algeria. Morocco pushes into Algeria. Like, Algeria actually fell one spot when the EAF formed, because Algeria right now is the 10th largest country, but the EAF overtook it when it formed, so it's actually only the 11th largest nation in Africa, second biggest. And that makes the DRC 12th. It's 11th right now. Hello, Easy does stuff. Lag is. So Algeria kind of just makes peace. Again, with no implications, or very minor implications, like maybe a military reduction or two, but maybe like some military reduction, and not being able to declare a war on someone, and maybe like being forced to not declare war on countries, but like that's it. So this is a new world map. Why are we in China or South Korea technically right now? China is about to take Taiwan. So they send their navy out, which I'm not going to show in color because that would be incredibly weird. It would look it would look kind of weird. But I guess I'll do it. So China sends out their navy from here. Into actually turn down the tolerance to only 20% there. So they encircle Taiwan, or start to encircle Taiwan. You know why I haven't been talking about the U.S. much, so what has the U.S. been doing? Well, they formed a secret alliance with Taiwan and other nations in the Pacific to fight against China and Russia. So basically, China sending their navy out to Taiwan makes it seem to this alliance that they're threatening war. So it's time. So America sends out their navy from Pearl Harbor. Yes, Pearl Harbor. And then jump from Hawaii so they send the navy in very fast. Pretty cool. Mainly so the U.S. Navy couldn't get, so, yeah. Pearl Harbor. I'm not going to have an Indian Civil War. I probably wouldn't have it. I might have an Indian Civil War later. But I have something else to do right now. So, it's like 2029, so I don't know who would be president of the U.S. Maybe either, like, because I don't want to piss people off. Like, maybe Nikki Haley or someone that would do that. Also, what the heck? Texan Independence War. I don't think DeSantis would be president. He basically stopped his campaign. Ball at its independence? No. I don't think that. You can't actually leave the Union. Texas wouldn't leave the Union, but, I mean, maybe, I'll keep that on the list. I'll keep it on the list of possible ideas of, like, why do I keep accidentally drawing the Chinese Navy over there? So basically, the Navy keeps progressing north. I just have to mark that. I just have to add a new lie. Layers, add new layer. I'm just gonna add a new layer. Yeah, I'm just drawing a black line. I'm calling it the Black Line of Remembrance. Okay, that's everything. I doubt DeSantis would be president. I don't, like, his campaign kind of died very quickly. Just hide that. Oh, I'm drawing it on another layer. Oh, wait, I still have to show that. So just progress over that way. What's against the government? By the way, what are you using for this? Paint.net. the program, I mean, that's the program that I'm using for this. I'm using Texas. Yeah. I mean, a state it's written in the Constitution that a state can't leave, but I mean, I'll put under maybe if like Plus, Texas wouldn't win their war for independence because the U.S. is just too strong. Well, maybe if they were assisted by nations like China or Russia, but they might do that. But China has other issues right now. Turkish Civil War. Soon. I probably will have a Turkish Civil War. Like, between the Kurds and, like, the other nations. Like, between the Kurds and the government. The American Navy hasn't even gotten... I mean, the American Navy hasn't even reached Guam yet. So China fully encircled Taiwan, and it looks like the invasion would start, but they didn't invade yet. They're attempting to just cut it off from global trade. To starve the island out, but they will have to swiftly. They do invade through the south. I mean, they do invade slightly. Like, they do start their invasion near the coast of Taiwan, but America just had to progress very quickly. So, basically, after the Americans get very close, China attempts to take Taiwan and other areas. Well, not, I guess, other areas, but, yeah. The American Navy reaches the Chinese one. Russia would. I think Russia would support Texas, but still, America would just be too strong. I don't think Texas. Oh, yeah, right. So, basically, look at all that, see all that naval progress? Goodbye. That stuff, goodbye. Goodbye. All of that progress that China made into Taiwan, say goodbye to all of that. eventually, so America lands in China, but actually sees fierce resistance. And of course, the Second Korean War begins when the Second Korean War begins after North Korea starts the invasion of South Korea. South Korea is alarmed by this and pushes back the North because their military is superior, especially with the help of other nations. They also send out their navy to take this one random island that the recolor isn't going to let me fix. There we go, much better. Oh yeah, because a lot of people are trying to get Texas to declare independence because Governor Greg Abbott's because of Governor Greg Abbott placing razor wire on the border with Mexico. He basically placed razor wire along these lines. And the Supreme Court said that was unconstitutional, that was bad, and that should be removed at once. Wait, oh yeah, thing. Yeah, this is the correct one. The U.S. pushes into China a little bit. But you know how China's military is twice as large as America's? Yeah, that's something to note. Yeah, note that. Yeah, note that, because the Chinese push back the Americans. Their sheer number is the thing that that's the thing that's kind of allowing them to not fall as fast. Yeah. Yeah, nah, Texas probably wouldn't leave. Especially since America's invading places. Oh, also, new war participant, India. Of course, India really hates China, so they kind of see this as their chance to invade China. This terrain, I believe this terrain is very mountainous, so I might be ignoring a lot of geography here, but they probably would push in. Now, China still retains much of their territory, and this territory is, like, invaluable. It's not valuable at all. So, would Vietnam do anything? Probably. So Vietnam takes Hanoi. That's all that Vietnam does is just take part of Hanoi and then start moving in from there. No, that's not the island's name. Hanoi is the capital city of Vietnam. I forgot that island's name. That's actually just Vietnam's capital city. So that, okay, the Vietnamese military isn't that strong, but they can do guerrilla warfare pretty well. China also attempted to invade Mongolia, but they actually aren't. Okay, they wouldn't. Okay, they probably wouldn't. Oh, see now how India has multiple borders with China? Oh. Well, they use this to their advantage. They use this to their advantage to take other useless parts of China. Basically, a Tibetan separatist movement also grows. To the point. So all of the color. So all of India's color will be replaced with this. It will be replaced with this color, which is basically just a color of it's a color of Tibet. It also looks a lot like other. India is just funding this rebellion, as basically the separatist movement. The separatist movement doesn't grow too strong. Well, it does, but that's for later purposes. North Korea decided to fire a few nukes. They're all deactivated. So the South Koreans, with support of other nations, start invading into North Korea. So they attempt to encircle Pyongyang, but I believe Pyongyang's right around here. They encircle that, and the city falls. North Korea eventually completely falls into South Korean hands. So, once again, the Koreas are reunited. So, once again, the Koreas are reunited. The Koreas now have to take on China. Basically, China is facing a front issue. They're at war with too many countries, so there's so many fronts that they have to fight on. Plus, there's growing separatist movements. In East Turkestan and in Manchuria. And there's a rebellion in Tibet. Basically, it's the Himalayas. Well, yeah, it is the Himalayas, but it's actually not really it's no longer Indian territory. It's, I guess, a Tibetan rebel. Manchuria breaks away. Yeah, this probably would be something that I would consider happening. Nope, that's too close to Mongolia's color. How about this green color? So a new rebellion in Manchuria breaks out, Manchuria actually full-on declares independence from China, claiming about all of this territory from here onward. The eventual invade, so yeah. Tibet. Yeah, I did put Tibet did. Yeah, that actually was Tibet. Like, yeah, that is the Himalayas, but mountain stuff. I'm kind of ignoring geography. I'm kind of mainly ignoring geography here because, like, it's realistic for everything except that. And I'm also undermining military strength because I'm an extremely I'm another patriarch, but I just. I kind of hate it. Okay, whatever. Tibet, East Turkestan also rebels. So, more national separatists. Now, this would... This also happens quite a bit, so... I mean, what am I saying? Anyways, a little bit of the Tibetan... Okay, these movements aren't actually at war with each other. But generally I'm just reflecting other areas. So, other areas in China start rebelling, like East Turkestan, which is mainly supported by Central Asian nations, except for the Taliban. They aren't doing anything. Anyways, they take this very short strip of China that connects to Afghanistan. Basically, now China... Now, of course, all of the countries in NATO and this new thing, this new alliance-y thing, are starting to boycott Chinese goods. This also wrecks their economy, but it also wrecks the economy of any other nation that's participating in the war. India's doing pretty good. Well, it already is doing really good, but it's just doing more well now. Unrealistic, but funny. Korea starts the siege of Shanghai. That probably would work. Yeah, East Turkestan definitely would revolt if it had the chance. That would mean the Korean Navy starts going out from here and from this random island, which they probably don't have any bases on. Anyways, they reach Shanghai. Oh yeah, don't have your tolerance up at 40% if you're trying to do this. I believe at maximum 35%, because that's not gonna scrape the land, because it'll like raise the land a little more. So they land in Shanghai, and the city meets fierce resistance to the point they probably, so they actually have to get in for a siege. They just have to. They make slight progress in Shanghai, but they have to dig in for a siege of the city. And, what's Japan been doing? I'm reading. Yeah, China would probably also start mass conscripting, but at this point, there's no stopping this. Like, they've lost a key area, Shanghai, which is the largest city in China, or one of the largest, if I'm correct. The Chinese start pushing the Koreans back and also start tailing them. They also start tailing the Koreans in their navy. They kind of start tailing the Korean navy, which isn't really. So they're not completely... So, China isn't completely losing. Also, what have the Americans been doing? because we haven't actually checked what they've been doing. Well, they pushed up a bit. So they pushed up a little bit and into China. Oh, wrong. So they pushed slightly into China. So here's what the world looks like. Mongolia makes a referendum to join Russia. I don't think they would. To be fair, I don't think Mongolia would. I mean, they might try to take back Inner Mongolia or something. They might try to take back Inner Mongolia, like how Czechoslovakia took part of the Trans-Siberian Railway. Catering. So, the Chinese get pushed back, and the Koreans again dig in for a siege, this time with more territory. Basically, they now barely outnumbering the Chinese. They basically send their armies forward in a few directions, scaling a little bit up the coast. But again, the Chinese notice and push the Koreans back even further. And, so, yeah. They're using all of their exhaust to push out. They also used a lot of exhaust to push out the Vietnamese, but they couldn't. And the Americans too. Don't forget the Americans, because they pushed them back. And then the Americans pushed them back even farther. So, eventually, slightly pushing back the Chinese, or, I say slightly, but I really mean a lot more than before. And then the Chinese pushed them back even more. Nah, for mapping reasons. Okay. Beijing is like over here. Beijing's like over here. No one's getting close to Beijing. So Japan sets up another force to kind of deter the Chinese. After a while, they reach this area and start pushing in. So now with some help. So now with some help in the siege, the Japanese are again doing stuff like taking a little bit more. The Chinese also attempt to fight back. Now they are outnumbered. He's playing War Thunder. One of the members of my chat is playing War Thunder. Okay, now that is, by the way, China is the biggest navy. Well, I believe America's is stronger though. Again, front issue. Again, it's a front issue because China has to fight so many fronts. How have the Americans been doing? Pretty good. They, again, push the Chinese back even further than before. That's basically all. That's basically all that's happening for now. I somehow have to turn down the tolerance there so it doesn't recolor its own self. So the Chinese are a little pushed back by the Vietnamese guerrilla warfare. It's a front issue. Yeah, Vietnam is really good. Yeah, Vietnam is actually really good at guerrilla warfare. Well, probably. Yeah. You won't be. I'm going to turn my thing off real quick. Why is someone on a business? Someone's on a call while I'm streaming, and I'm not gonna. I can't ask them to stop because it's rude. But like, okay, yeah, this is Cage going on a tangent, probably. Also, what's that? Oh, there we go. Oh, Tibet, I'm sure. Tibet kind of looks like an earthworm. Even more than Malawi. Because Malawi also looks like a worm. I'm probably gonna do something like sink it into the ocean because there's nothing. Because it literally looks perfect for a lake. Plus, no amount of changing its shape could fix it. I hope the other team doesn't have helicopters. Why is my helicopter moving sideways? Why don't you encirclement strategy on Tibet? Like, getting the whole board. Well, that's what they're doing. That's what they're doing. They're just getting the whole border. With. Like, generally, the Tibetans can push in. These are the freaking Himalayas. And they have to push in. Well, Mount Everest is in Nepal, but you get the point. The Thunder Dragon Empire is also doing stuff. Well, they're not. They're actually not doing stuff. Bhutan is completely neutral, but they support. They actually start. Nepal and Bhutan start funding Tibet a little bit because because generally they support Tibet. I meant the state, not the neighborhood. What do you mean by the neighborhood? Or the state? Yeah, I know that. Yeah. Here's, I've been going on for an hour already. So China, Russia would be supporting China a little bit, but generally they kind of want to stay out of this because they don't want to invade places. Some Russian politicians did threaten the U.S. that they would reclaim Alaska, which it wasn't really theirs to begin with. We also another thing. Also, a new event because I kind of want something that's. I kind of want to do something that isn't war for once, and it's the unification between Russia and Belarus. So now we have a big Russia. It's now called the Eurasian Union. Even though it didn't even expand that much. Also, I'm so annoyed about this thing. Much better. Now that's a clean border. Like, minus Kaliningrad, which might go to Poland, which Poland might invade Kaliningrad to do something. So, another thing, because Russia is very big, So the Baltics have now unified under one country because of the Russians. So the Russians are really, because now the Russians annexed Belarus, they now have an even higher risk of getting invaded, which is why they're in NATO. Another thing. Romania and Moldova united. That was a brain fart. Honestly, that border doesn't look bad. That's actually a pretty good border, minus the fact that that's so thin. No. Generic name. Make Alaska leave the U.S. due to a majority of population speaking Russian. Is that actually true? Um... 84% speaks English. They would have to go through Siberia, Well, I guess Alaska and Siberia are about this. Are they about the same temperature? I have no idea. Well, I believe only 55 kilometers separates these areas. And there's actually a closer connection between these parts. Well, no, it's farther away, but it's to mainland Alaska. Alaska isn't. I guess it is disconnected. Also, why would Russians swim across the ocean, or take a plane or something? They wouldn't, because you can't go. That isn't even possible. You wouldn't be able to migrate to Alaska unless there was, a bridge, which would work, but they wouldn't. Plus, Alaska can't, Alaska is literally a state. Kind of the same thing. The same thing would happen Texas, and the same thing would happen in my predictions. States can't leave the union. States can't just leave the union. It's actually shown in it says in the Constitution that states can't leave. So, yeah. I hate that exclave. I don't really. It doesn't. I mean, it doesn't look bad. It doesn't look terrible. Like, it doesn't look terrible. Actually, it doesn't look terrible. Alaska doesn't look terrible on a map. Plus, I'm not going to make a country independent because of someone's opinion on how it looks. Also, has anything happened on Antarctica? No, nothing has happened on Antarctica because, yes, and another thing. Oh wait. I just want something. Yeah, you don't care about Antarctica. Alaska wouldn't be independent, or just give it to Canada. How about I just fix the border issue? How about I fix this border issue once and for all? But, oh, don't use 40% tolerance for that. I'm just gonna give it to Canada. I'm actually just gonna give it to Canada. Because less than 500,000 people actually live there. Or no. But very little people actually live there. They can just join their fellow Canadian. They can just join Canada. That probably looks. That just look. I don't think Alaska would be. Okay, much better. That 1.7 million people live in Alaska. That isn't much. Also, would Canada claim any part of Antarctica? No, because I mean, not that many countries could claim parts of Antarctica. Wait, let me actually give Quebec independence real quick. Because, yes. I'm going to give Quebec independence because, yes. That probably isn't the greatest border that I've made, but it could be worse. I think I'll give it this color. I mean, I guess giving it Newfoundland and Labrador probably would help with this, but, like... I don't know. That looks pretty good. This will be made so Canada join. Imagine. What a good reason to give Quebec independence. Just, yeah. Quebec getting independence because, yes. Or they just voted for it. I think it would be better if I just made that a straight line. How about I actually just expand that Quebecan border to just be a straight line? That actually doesn't look good at all. But I can't really use a reference source for that. I think it looked better beforehand. How about I make it that? That probably looks that's probably the best border that I've ever made. No, probably the worst. Maybe even... okay. Maybe not the best, but... okay. Brazil buying part of Chile's borders in Antarctica. Also, let's say that the Antarctic... so, the Antarctic Treaty, decides to end itself. So, the UN actually decided to override the Antarctic Treaty. We can't actually do that. No. Yeah, actually, yeah. Actually, yeah, I will. Oh, imagine a Brazilian part. Imagine Brazil owning a part of Antarctica. Sometimes, it seems, sometimes that might have to happen. And also just make it also be claimed. So now Brazil owns part of Antarctica. It also gives Chile less to deal with. No. Oh yeah, even the penguins can't escape Brazil. Everyone's gonna go to Brazil now, I guess. We now have 3 green nations in Antarctica, so that's gonna be weird. I kind of wanted to make Australia and New Zealand unite, but okay, fine. I'll make that happen. I probably do want yeah, I think Australia and New Zealand should unite, because that would be cool. Plus, they're both English. they're both English speaking. I mean, so what's the royal family going to do? I mean, the British. Would they actually give up parts of their claims in Antarctica? I will have to fix a few Antarctic borders here. I'm gonna give some. Boom, 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 boom. Boom. Oh. Boom, boom, boom. Let's just give that all to Argentina so we can fix that mess. Oh, great. Okay, much better. Yeah, I think Antarctic independence would be a cool idea. Should I give this to Brazil or Britain? Which should I give this? I think I'll just give all of this to Brazil. Oh, I just don't accidentally give the Falkland Islands. Actually, I'm gonna have to do that. Very good. Kind of too late. I'm not talking to anyone. It's just background noise. There's a lot of background noise. I might actually end the stream around here. and then I'll fix the Brazilian borders in Antarctica. So see ya everyone, and I'll